The way we need to get back to this is to educate our own students, right? We need to get back to educating our own students and not being influenced by TikTok and social media and Confucius Institutes, quite frankly. Caroline Moore is the Vice President of Parents Defending Education. She's joining me today. Caroline, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time. Listen, indoctrination in schools is especially problematic with the CCP and so forth, but I want you to tell me about Parents Defending Education. What is it, and what are you guys trying to push back on, and what are you trying to do?
Yeah, so we're a national grassroots organization, and we have members in all states across the country. And what we're really focused on is having kids go to school and learn English, math, science, and history. And it doesn't seem like a revolutionary purpose, but during COVID, a lot of our members and our founders, or our founder of our organization, found that students aren't necessarily focused on the basics. Instead of being equipped for, a work in a trade or going to a university, kids are being taught things like social and emotional learning and things about activism and whatnot. And so we really want kids to learn about what they should be learning in school and be ready for the world. And we also think that it's very important for parents to be involved in kids. As you know, parents are the majority rule makers in the home, and they also have control over, a child's right to education, how they're educated, their medical decisions, and all other decisions in their lives. And it seems like there's been a push across the country to keep parents out of classrooms and have teachers work with students behind the backs of parents to implement policies and help them learn these social constructs that, parents may not believe in and they're completely unaware of unless we're doing
Right. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I mean, we just had Xi Jinping in San Francisco. Strange, because it looked more like Nanking than San Francisco, because there was hardly an American flag to be found, but there were Chinese flags flying everywhere. Well, you find that in school as well. Indoctrination in schools, especially Chinese Communist Party influence, like you said, the removal of parents' rights and the removal of parents altogether in K-12 schools. But these schools will partner with all sorts of Chinese government agencies, take their money and, well, preach their gospel, their doctrine, won't they?
Absolutely. We found through our research that there are at least 32 states that have accepted funding from the CCP or CCP-linked entities, and that's very concerning. There are schools in states that you would think of, like Kentucky or North Carolina, but it's a majority of states across the country, and they seem to be school districts that, aren't getting the revenue from taxes in these states. And so these CCP-linked, nonprofits, some of them are, or they sound great, bringing culture into classrooms of kids who wouldn't otherwise have access to, learning Mandarin or whatever. But it turns out that these policies, they're not necessarily teaching kids about cultural norms, they're indoctrinating them. And so this is very concerning to us. It looks like these entities have reached out and made sufficient long-term contacts with the best schools in the country. So Thomas Jefferson High School in Virginia, and we also found schools in Simpson School in Kentucky, which is their highest ranked school, as well as the North Carolina School for Science and Mathematics. Another interesting thing is that a lot of these school districts, 20 of them in fact, are located near military bases. Now that's very concerning. As you know, the CCP has been buying up a lot of farmland, and I know that's of concern to people, but really I think we should be looking closer to home and looking at, foreign entities giving money to public schools in the US. I mean, it's really scary. And yes, we've noticed that it's, the Chinese government is doing this, but it makes us wonder, are there other foreign entities giving money to public schools in this country that we should be aware of? And
well, you'd have to wonder.
Other extensive research. Yeah. It's very concerning.
Yeah, you'd have to wonder looking at everything that's going on. And I thumbed through these schools in Minnesota, in Texas, in Oklahoma, Kentucky, as you mentioned, all over this country, Confucius Institutes. millions of dollars. I mean, tens of millions of dollars literally flowing into school. And we know what they're doing on college campuses, of course, but they're just prepping the kids earlier to get them conditioned to the idea that you will own nothing and you'll be happy. I mean, that's the edict from the World Economic Forum, fueled again by Chinese money. We've got an open border fueled and encouraged by Chinese money. We have this Green New Deal movement trying to destroy energy sectors in America, fueled by Chinese money, and trying to condition all of these kids, K through 12, and then beyond, into buying into this nonsense. And it is nonsense because communism is the deadliest form of government ever created. And I bet they don't teach that at the Confucius Institutes, that China killed more than 50 million of its own people on the Great Leap Forward in 1959 and 60. I mean, I'm guessing they missed that lesson. What do you think?
No, absolutely. It seems like the history that they're teaching is really a whitewashed version of what's gone on. And so it's not necessarily coming in and, teaching kids Mandarin or learning about different cultures, which I think we can all agree is a great thing. Everybody should learn about different cultures. That's great. However, it seems that they're whitewashing history. And, I really just think as Americans, we shouldn't stand for that. I mean, we certainly don't believe that. But what we found is a lot of parents, I mean, I think most parents involved in all of these schools, they didn't even know that this was going on. And so our entire mission is that exposing empowers parents and empowers them to get involved and know their facts when they're talking to, school administrators or teachers. Instead of going in and being frustrated and, not being taken seriously, they can go in and we've kind of given them a blueprint. This is the amount of money that we found that is going into your child's school district. And this is, they know why they should be concerned, because schools in America should be teaching American values, which, as you said,
that's exactly what I was going to say. If we're going to teach culture, maybe we should teach American culture, Caroline. Absolutely. Caroline Moore here, Vice President of Parents Defending Education. Yeah, American culture should be taught first and foremost. But you see these papers, banning Christmas trees while embracing the Confucius Institutes. There's something wrong with that entire picture, right? There just is, as we talk about this time of the year.
Absolutely.
I'll give you the last word here for 30 seconds and then tell folks how they can find you.
Great, thank you. So in addition to the foreign funding in public schools, another thing that we've noticed is they have this great tracker online that talks about parent exclusion policies. And this is even more widespread. We've uncovered about 10 million kids are impacted across the country. School districts in 33 states have such policies where a student can work with a teacher to transition either socially, have pronouns go by a different name, that sort of thing in the classroom. And parents are intentionally not made aware of this. And so I think
that's wrong.
People think
that's just flat out wrong. So before we run out of time, though, I want to know where the website is real quickly, Caroline, so people can find you.
Yes, of course. Defendinged.org. And we also, not only do we have all our trackers on there, we also have an anonymous tip email address, info@defendinged.org. And we'd love any insight that parents have.
Defendinged.org, defendinged.org. Caroline, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.